Good morning, boys and girls, and welcome to the Stink Bug Works. I apologize this morning. I just did not feel like making coffee. I went down to the kitchen and propped my eyes open and said, the hell with it, I'll just go make a boat gang video. So, one of my viewers some time back said, talk about tools, some of the cool tools you use. And I remember during the airplane days, there were always something I was making, some sort of tooling and such. And I was talking about this and that. And for a boater, a model boater, this is a real important tool. This is a pipe cleaner. It's the perfect thing for doing a colonoscopy on your stuffing tube and getting all that grease that's been liberally mixed with water out. So when you grease it the next time, you get good clean grease and there's no hint of water in there. If you've ever had a car that's blown a head gasket, you can look up underneath the oil cap and you'll see oil mixed with water. And grease does the same thing in the stuffing tube. It foams it up and it homogenizes it. So you do not want homogenized grease in your stuffing tube. And these are the perfect thing to take it out. Notice it's got a little bit of blue here on the end because you got a colonoscopy. It'll even work on these. I'm going to tell you about this in a minute. I'll tell you right now. I went into a box titled Retired Hulls, and I pulled this out. Now, you've seen that little Aviox motor I had, the 1005. I had that in here. I had a Mystery 3000. I've had a bunch of motors in here, and they all ran real good. The Aviox was frighteningly fast, and the thing did not want to blow off the water. So I was pretty impressed at the kind of speed you could get out of this thing without even touching the hull at all. I was surprised at the speed. So this now resides in my my retired boats. It had a straight shaft. I adapted it to another shaft. I had, Octura hardware on here, and so this was a boat from 20 years ago. Oliver still makes this hull, and when I ordered the custom Blasto 5000 motor coupler from Oliver, the cost of shipping the motor coupler was the same as the cost of shipping the motor coupler and a hull like this. And a hull like this was like, I don't know, it wasn't very expensive. It was like 60 euros, 70 euros, something like that. So it was under $100. I think it was maybe $70. So I ordered a new hull. So there'll be a new naked hull coming. I'm not going to bother with any of the carbon. I put the carbon in there just to tie the motor and the servo together. And since that Aviox was kind of hefty, I wanted some support there. This has its own little support. And quite frankly, my goal with the new one of these is to keep it as light as possible. So I'm not going to bother with any of that inlay stuff. It just doesn't need it. So that's my plan on that. There'll be a new build coming out soon, and I'm going to tempt you guys to copy along because this motor is, you can get this motor and a 30 amp speed control for under $20. This motor mount, I think, is like $4 or $5. You get one of those cheap micro rudders for $12, a servo for $10, and that's it. That's everything you need right there, And so you can be fast, cheap, and out of control. So I'm going to set one of these things up with this little outrunner. It might even get this speed control. Now let's talk about this. This was in the plastic Cobra M450. And I ran it the other day at the lake, and it just didn't seem to have the get up and go. And so I pulled it out, and I hooked up a motor to it, or I grabbed the rotating parts that were grabbable and put a little power to it, and it would just kind of cog and brrrr, and then if I let go, it would spin up. So it would spin a motor, but as soon as you put a load on it, it would no longer do that. So it made me think I had a bad FET. Well, so this morning I said, well, let's try it with a real low KV motor and see what happens, because these are torquing motors and I can grab a hold of it here and it's not going to be turning real high RPM that I'm going to hurt myself. So I hooked it all up, put the servo connector, put a 2S battery on it, boom, it ran just fine. I have no idea what's going on with this thing. So this was originally the stock Sea King. I took the wrapper off. I conformal coated everything. I put a new wrapper on. I kept the decal to make it look factory, but factory doesn't use this clear shrink tube. So I have no idea on this. It may find its way into this just because. And finally, the last thing here on the bench is the Deprojet. Since we were talking about this little outrunner, I think I'm going to retire the tub. I'm going to keep the booms and all the running gear, but I think I'm going to retire the tub. The tub is just, hello Depron. And so this winter, I may make a new tub out of, just some balsa sides. I might even use like 1/8 balsa sides and 1/16 balsa on the top and just be done with it, Nothing fancy, just 1/8 balsa and 1/16 balsa. That's about all I have for now, boys and girls. Until next time, jet out.